I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737 777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. This is your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 172. And I believe firmly that this episode is literally going to change your life. Now, I know I've probably said that on every episode, but listen closely, right? Because this one, I believe, maybe you have heard, maybe you haven't heard, but I really believe it can really shift some things in your life. And so, what we're going to talk about is the 9 emotional needs. First off, did you even know that there were 9 emotional needs? That's what we're going to talk about. And, it's interesting because, you can Google this, by the way. I don't know where it came from, but I know I learned it at a marriage conference way back in 2012, and it was life changing. And I thought I'd revisit it and share some of this with you all. And by the way, let me just say this. Um, you know, we have in that marriage conference, they were talking about how you're in the small house when you're a kid, and these 9 emotional needs, if they're not met, oftentimes we move to the big house, which is adulthood, and we're seeking these emotional needs. And oftentimes we place the improper expectation on people to fulfill these emotional needs that we never got as a child. Like, we expect our spouse to fulfill all these needs, and they weren't designed to fulfill all those needs. Those are some things that needed to be worked out with you and your parents. And if it didn't happen, then we need to, work that out like on our own, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that your spouse can't help, but I highly suggest maybe you might even want to consider therapy. Of course, we had Val Bird on the episode previously, who is a therapist, and she shared a lot of great nuggets. And I just believe that there's nothing wrong with talking to someone, an expert, who can give you the tools that you need to um, guide you through life when things happen, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about here today, is the 9 emotional needs. So let's just jump right in. The first one is meaning. And meaning is super important. It's not in any particular order, but we're going to talk about meaning because, look, we all want to know, why are we on this earth? Why are we alive? Why us? What are we here to fulfill in this world? How can we play a role in the bigger picture of the world, right? And how can we bring value? How can we bring substance? How can we show our worth in the world? So meaning is important. We all want to feel like we are somebody and that we mean something. Number two, and again, these are not in any particular order, is security. We all want to feel like we have a safe environment. And again, we all have little trigger points. So sometimes we don't realize why we do certain things that we do. And it's just because we were triggered by something that didn't happen when we were a child, or something that did happen as a child. So just understand that these all play certain roles in our lives. And oftentimes we don't even know. Like, we don't even know that it's affecting us because it's been happening for so long in such a way that we don't even understand it. So, security is important. We all want to feel like we have a safe environment. Number three, and you know what? Let me unpack that a little bit because, I just realized, like, I grew up with a two-parent household, and my wife grew up in, for the most part, a one-parent household. And so for me, I never had a problem with security. I never felt like security wasn't there for me. So hence, as an adult, security is like non-existent to me. Whereas for my wife, it's extremely important, right? Because it's something that she didn't necessarily have in the way that I had it. Does that make sense? So we have to not only understand that we didn't have certain things, or we did have certain things, but we have to be sensitive of the emotional needs of other people that are around us that we care about, right? So we have to understand that. So the third thing is privacy. We all want to have our own alone time, or time to reflect, time to, we want our own space oftentimes, right? Like for me, being an introvert, if I'm around a whole lot of people for a long time, it could be emotionally draining, right? And so there are times I just want to get alone and be in silence, and just in like I'm good being by myself and having it quiet, nothing on, right? Just silence. I love that, right? And so privacy is very important. The next one is volition, and that's basically feeling like we have a sense of control, a sense of directing our own lives, that we have power over our own selves. So volition is important, because if we feel like we lack our own self sense of control, then that means that we really feel like other people control everything about our lives, and who wants to live that way, right? I mean, that's scary. And some people feel that way. So it's hard for them, right? Because now they want to try to control everybody, because they feel that they didn't have any control, right? I mean, it's a domino effect, right? So the next one is attention. We all want to feel like someone will listen to me. Someone will hear me. That's important, because listening is different than hearing, right? So, you could hear somebody, but well, I'm sorry, you could listen to somebody, but did you hear them? Did you really understand? Did you connect with them? Did you bond with them? Did you catch what they were trying to say in between the lines, right? So attention is important. We all want to feel like someone will at least hear us. Like for instance, you come home from a long day of work, and you share your thoughts of how that day went. We all want to feel like somebody cares enough to listen to what happened in our day, right? So attention is important. Intimacy is important, and not exactly the way you think. I'm not talking about necessarily physical intimacy, although that does play a part of it. But I'm talking about emotional into emotional connection, where you have friendships and you feel loved and you feel that you are cherished in that way. So intimacy is important. Having a connection with somebody, where someone can say that they love you, and you love them back, right? Where you have that connection, that bond that is unshakable. Okay. Also, community connection, or some kind of social. We all want to feel that we have love for our family, and we have our family and stuff. We have the people who are around us, but we also want to feel like we can have an impact on a society. We can have an impact in our community. We can be bigger than just our family, but we can be in a game and have friends, or we can be a part of, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say politics, but um, some kind of bigger picture in the community, maybe in your ministry, and you're supporting the community. Maybe you like to be a philanthropist, right? We just want to feel that we can fulfill a greater role in society. The other thing is self-worth. This is a big one, right? I read a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, and he talked about how he would fix people's faces with surgery, but it didn't change much, because internally they hadn't been fixed. And this is critical, guys. So self-worth is super important, and I know from experience, because in the beginning on my journey to success, um, I had to really build up my self-worth, because it wasn't something that I felt like it was watered enough as a child. So self-worth is important. Then achievement. We all want to feel like we can accomplish something. We can get an award. We can be celebrated. We can make something happen and make somebody proud, or make ourselves proud because we've achieved something, we accomplished something, we had a goal, we set it and we went for it and we achieved it. So now we're standing on the mountaintop, so to speak. No one wants to be at the bottom of the mountain forever, right? In every area of life, we want to achieve things in life. And so these 9 emotional needs are critical. And I want you to really look at these and evaluate. The first one again was meaning, security, privacy, volition, attention, intimacy, community connections or social, self-worth, and achievement. If you didn't get these things growing up, then you may want to look at some of these and evaluate how you can start to work on it and get better, have it work better in your life for you right now. But again, don't expect it to come from someone else. Don't place a false expectation from someone else for what you didn't get, right? Because now it's unfair to them because they were never necessarily meant to fulfill that for you. Now, don't get me wrong; they're going to fulfill lots of things for you if they're loved ones and they're people who you love and you cherish and things like that, and they care about you. They're going to do the best they can. But some things we just have to figure out on our own, right? And I just want to share that these 9 emotional needs, I'm even going to reflect on them myself, right? I'm gonna take some time and look at each of them and just figure out what I would probably suggest is give yourself a grade 1 to 10 on each of them, and then the ones that are below 7 or so, maybe you want to do some research, do some studying. Maybe I may have somebody come on and talk about these emotional needs in the future. But I just think they're so important, and I think it really deserves another conversation, another episode. So we will be talking more in detail about these. Hey, we might even break these up into a series, right? And go over these 9 because I think it's that important. So listen. This is episode 172 of the Code Freedom Podcast. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you loved it. I hope you learned a lot. God bless you all. Take care, take charge, and we'll see you over the top. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.